Hello and welcome to part 2 of my Q&A. So we'll start with William Gallimore Talon, and his first question is, I've decided that I want to start collecting some of the Rolling Stones albums and wondering which albums to start with. Now I have to admit, I'm not a major Rolling Stones fan. I certainly like the band, I certainly listen to them, but I wouldn't call myself a hardcore fan or anything, and I actually own very few of their albums. In fact, I only own 2, I hate to say. I just never seem to come across them for cheap for some reason. I don't really know why. But certainly the ones I would suggest starting off with, Exile on Main Street. This is a drop-dead classic. I do think that as a double album, it's a little long, and it's not as good as other double albums of the year. You know, it's not a patch on Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. It's certainly far more inconsistent than that, but a good one. I'd say the main 2, in my opinion, you should really get Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers. But that whole trinity, including Exile, is definitely can't go wrong with any of those albums. They have some of their best singles, some hidden gems and album tracks, and they're just end-to-end all pretty damn good albums. I also personally really like the album Tattoo You. I recently got that on vinyl, and it's, well, mainly just for the single Start Me Up. But I actually think all the way through it's a very underrated album, and I've been enjoying it an awful lot, so I definitely recommend that if you see it cheap. Number 2, who are your top 3 favourite guitarists? Gary Moore, Joe Bonamassa and Slash. Number 3, what is your opinion on Metallica and Lou Reed's album Lulu? I don't think it's great, but I also don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I definitely need to revisit the album. I do have the big old deluxe edition because I found it in a car boot for literally £2, so I couldn't resist it for that. It's a nice hardback book and all that. And I'm going to listen to it again, and particularly because I got into Lou Reed far more recently. I've been listening to quite a bit of his solo stuff and King of the Velvet Underground. So yeah, I definitely need to listen to it again and see, maybe I might prefer it now, but certainly some of the lyricism, I am the table, I think it's still going to seem rather silly to me, particularly with James Hetfield singing it. And number 4, this brings us on nicely. Do you feel that Lou Reed was better as a solo artist or part of the Velvet Underground? I would say better as part of the Velvet Underground, certainly because my favourite work of Lou Reed is the Velvet Underground Nico's exceptional debut songs like Sunday Morning, the immense Venus in Furs, which blows my mind every time I listen to it, and Heroin as well, which is just such an epic track. And that album, end to end, I just adore so much. I only actually listened to it about a month ago for the first time, picked it up for a couple of quid in HMV. I'm so pleased I did. I've been listening to it so much. I've listened to it at least like 10-15 times since then. It's actually in my top 100 albums of all time now. I just fell in love with it. Number 5, if you like David Bowie, what is your favourite era / album? Definitely love Bowie. So my favourite era has to be, well, just from Space Oddity to Scary Monsters era. Anything after that, when he started getting more into the 80s and Let's Dance and all the pop crap. No, in my opinion, after Scary Monsters, the next good Bowie album is really, well, The Next Day. He certainly had some other decent stuff between them. I mean, Heathen was okay, and Dot Outside with Brian Eno was pretty interesting. Though again, it wasn't really fully realised because it was meant to be part of a trilogy, but it never happened. Only the first part ever did. But I mean, Ziggy, Stardust and the Spires from Mars is one of my top 10 favourite albums of all time, so that's obviously my favourite. 00 Jet asks a few questions, also known as Superior Reviews, and he has handily answered the questions for me as well. So that's good of him. Number 1, Iron Maiden is coming out with a new album. Do you think it will be great? You think it is great? Very, very true. Number 2, what is your favourite Beatles album? It's Revolver. Not quite, it's Abbey Road, in fact. Number 3, what is the most overrated Beatles album? It's the White Album. Well, we'll see soon enough when my review of the White Album comes out if I think that's the most overrated. Number 4, who is the greatest reviewer ever? Superior Reviews. Not surprised you're going to say that. Number 5, why will you not join our community of reviewers? You think you are not good enough. Sure. Number 6, you are good enough, we love you, why do you feel that way? You're right, Superior Reviews, I will join and subscribe to you. Who knows what even to say to that. Sure, 00 Jets. Sure. Stephen Payne asks, first album you ever bought, and what is it? Well, the first album I sort of ever got, I suppose, around to this is, well, S Club 7's debut. And in the States, I don't know if they did anything over there, you might wonder who they are. Basically just the complete pop band. There's no other way of saying it. A pop band. They had a big single, Reach for the Stars, which when I was younger I used to know off by heart, including the dance. Yeah, that's embarrassing to admit. I'd love to say that it was Metallica's Master of Puppets, but no. S Club 7's debut. The first album I ever remember by myself, though, I certainly have I suppose the earliest memory is really like, in 2008, I definitely remember buying AC/DC's Black Ice. That's certainly a cooler one as well, but I definitely remember buying that with my own money. So there you go. And also asks, P.S., SOAD, System of a Down, I presume, what is the genre of metal? I don't really know, I don't listen to them. I always kind of associate them with that like new metal, sort of late 90s, early 2000s scene. I may be off there, but it seemed more interesting than bands like Korn or whatever, because they seem to experiment far more, but I've never liked the band at all. The Strong Boys 19, fellow YouTuber, great reviewer, definitely check him out, asks, which album covers do you think have perfect detail and background? Well, funny you should mention that with my series Rock Art having debuted recently, but certainly some of my favourite album covers are Asia's self-titled debut album done by Roger Dean with sort of the sea serpent, that's a really cool one, Dio's Holy Diver. I have so much of a love for that album. In fact, I actually have on my denim jacket patches, that's the back patch I have, because what could be cooler than some like devil-like thing with a chain around a priest who's like trying to swim away. It's just such a cool piece of art. And it was one of the first metal albums I ever got into. When I saw that art, that's what made me want to listen to it, because I wasn't into metal when I listened to that album. It was just the album cover was like, this is so cool, I need to listen to it. I also love Magnums on a Storyteller's Night by Robbie Matthews, and Mastodon's Once More Around the Sun as a recent album cover has definitely become one of my favourites. I love the bright colours, and it's such a interesting and detailed drawing, or painting I suppose. Yeah, definitely like that one. Supersonic Shakemaker asks, so my question is, how do you feel about Theory of a Dead Man as a whole? Not just Savages, I actually like Savages too. Also, I'd like to thank you for inspiring me to make my own music channel. Well, that's very appreciated. To know that I've actually inspired anyone is rather surprising. Theory of a Dead Man, I don't like. I mean, I liked them when I was younger. I listened to the album, what was it? Life Starts Now, I think I bought. But I got bored of that really, really quickly. They're one of those bands I went through a phase for, like I listened to on YouTube and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. And then after like 2 months I was just like, I can't be bothered with this band. I did the same with like Rise Against and a lot of those sort of commercial rock bands around like, I suppose like 2008, 9, 10, around that sort of formative years of me getting into rock music. I went for a lot of phases of bands that I just then went off very quickly. It wasn't till sort of after 2010 I started getting into the bands which I still like today. James Willis, glad to see you making videos again, dude. 3 questions. Number 1, do you like Slipknot? Oh no I don't. My hatred of Corey Taylor I've expressed far too many times, so I'll just leave it at that. Number 2, have you heard any of Slayer's new songs? Yeah, I have. I mean, I haven't listened to them a massive amount of times. I just wanted to see, is this going to be absolute shit or not? And it doesn't seem it's going to be absolute shit. It's not going to be. It doesn't seem it's going to be, you know, God Hates Us All or something like that. But it didn't impress me. It just sounded like really middle of the road, mediocre Slayer, and didn't sound too far removed from their last album. And yeah, I mean, without Jeff Hanneman, who was like the best songwriter in the band, you just have Kerry King, who, I'm sorry, I don't think he's a very good guitarist. I've never liked him. I mean, nothing against Slayer, Rain in Blood, Show No Mercy, Seasons of the Abyss, albums I just adore. I really love a lot of Slayer. I love Slayer as a band. I've never loved Kerry Kingsley guitarists. I think these guitar solos are really dull, rely far too much on pinch harmonics and stuff. Just please stop with the freaking harmonics. We know you can do them. You're worse than Zakk Wylde in that respect. And yeah, so now we don't have Jeff Hanneman, it's just downhill, I'm afraid, for Slade. But I'm hoping it's good. I'm still going to be optimistic. And I want to listen to the album in its whole context, and hopefully I really like it, and that just listening to it through my television just didn't do it justice. Let's hope. Number 3. What order would you put all of Metallica's albums from best to worst? Very simple. Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All, Kill 'Em All, then Death Magnetic, probably Load, Reload, Lulu, and Saint Anger. There you go. Alan McLaren. Have you reviewed Blues Pills? No, I haven't, but I really kind of should, because their debut was freaking awesome, and I have a signed copy of it, and live, even though I only got to see like 10 minutes of their set, they seemed pretty good. How much life do you think Rush, Priest, Maiden / AC/DC have left in the gas tank in terms of albums and tours? Well, probably not too much longer, unfortunately. I mean, Rush, how they're threatening to retire with Alex Lifeson's arthritis and Geddy Lee's vocal problems, Neopet's back problems, and saying, oh, this is going to be our final big tour in America. I just hope they tour the UK one more time just so I can actually see them, because I don't know if I could cope without seeing Rush. Judas Priest, they seem to have a little while longer. They've definitely had a bit of a second wind and a resurgence, it seems, with Redeemed Souls. I mean, I saw them on their freaking Epitaph farewell tour, and that was no farewell tour for them, but it was for their support artist, Queensryche. That was the last UK tour with Jeff Tate, Queensryche. So I'm pleased I saw the final tour of Queensryche, but I was expecting to see the final tour of Priest. Still damn good, I'm not complaining, and I hope to see them later this year. And Redeemed Souls was a great album, so they seem to have, they're going to go into the studio next year, so a bit more live. Maiden, well, some health woes with Bruce Dickinson, and I mean, the rumours to Final Frontier will be their last. I can't see them going on too much longer, to be honest. I think a tour on Book of Souls, and then there could be the final, like, big world tour. AC/DC, not very much longer at all, with Malcolm seriously ill, and none of the bands getting any younger, and Phil Rudd in jail doing hell knows what. I don't know, though I did recently see AC/DC live, hence this t-shirt. I went all the way down to London, Wembley Stadium to see them, and they were amazing, simply stunning, one of the best live acts I've ever seen to this day. Down. I mean, Angus's guitar solo on Let There Be Rock for like 20 minutes, just mind-blowing. They can still put on a cracking show. But all of them, probably not too much longer, unfortunately. MJ27871. Number 1, your thoughts on the Smashing Pumpkins. I've never actually listened to any of their albums. I've been very unlucky. I've been trying to buy Melancholy and Infinite Sadness for the best part of 6 months, but every time I come across it, it's either scratched to pieces or missing one of the discs. In fact, I did buy it from a car boot the other week for £1, and I brought it home to discover it was missing one of the discs. So I'm waiting till I can just listen to it in its entirety, and I don't know when the hell that's going to be, but hopefully soon I'll have opinions on the Smashing Pumpkins. And number 2, your favourite records so far from 2015. Well, we're going to tie that in with a question from Pedro HM, which was, do you agree 2015 hasn't been a good year for rock/metal releases so far? I've had quite a few people saying that 2015 has been a disappointing year, certainly in terms of rock and metal, and I would really disagree, to be honest. I mean, some of my favourites and some of the releases we've had Stephen Wilson's just beyond words album, Ghost Baths, Marilyn Manson has returned to form, Muse have come back in full force, Paradise Lost's return to that older sound was a success. Beardfish continuing to be one of the best 70s revival prog bands. Lady Lamb's interesting indie rock album. Blackberry Smoke's killer dose of southern rock. Neil Morse Band, the best album he's released probably since the Spock's Beard days. Tremonti's, even though I have some slight mixed feelings on it, still been a solid album. Torch's new album, they never fail to deliver. Nordic Giants, another Icelandic band, really come to the forefront. I mean, later this year we've still got Ghost, Motorhead, Iron Maiden, and recently announced Coheed and Cambria, which I'm really excited for, though it's not part of their whole concept, which is a little disappointing because I really love that concept. But still, 2015 seems like it's going to be a great year for rock and metal, and there's other genres it's been good for as well. So it's been pretty good to me. And then finally from MJ, number 3, your favourite records from the 90s. I mean, I said before, the 90s are not my favourite genre, favourite time period of music, but certainly a time period there's still a lot of great stuff there. I mean, recently I've been digging Elliott Smith's XO. He's an American sort of indie folk musician. Fantastic album, XO is highly recommended. Radiohead's output in the 90s, obviously. Metropolis Part 2 and Images and Words by Dream Theater. Use Illusion 1-2 by Guns N' Roses. Clutching at Straws by Marillion. Aegitis Brian by Sigur Rós. I'll never be able to say that album titled correctly. Rust in Peace by Megadeth. There's so many albums in the 90s I love. So many. And that'll be it for this part. And tune in for the next part, which will hopefully be the last, but I don't really know. So this has been TheAIbumMan. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and long live rock and roll.